It's my big rooster. It's one of my first big roosters I've ever had, and he's still around here. He's about 3 years old now, and I don't know what it is, but something that I've come to realize with having big roosters around is the more I have, the less other stuff I have. The less hawks I have, the less skunks I have, the less raccoons I have, the less everything I have, the less owls I have. I just have less of everything, the more and more of them that I keep having. So right now I have, 4 of them, and it's an absolute blessing to be able to have so many, even though I will say, they're very annoying. My name is Mark Anthony DuBose Jr., and I was born July 4th of 1986. Someone I want to talk about right now is something that in reality just kind of came to me right now, talking about my roosters and thinking about my roosters and looking at my roosters and having a good idea of what roosters are even, why is it that they call so much? Why is it that they're so loud when everything on the planet in reality wants to eat it? Skunks want to eat them, hawks want to eat them, everything wants to eat it, but yet they are so loud. And they like to call. You know, I had a misunderstanding of hawks as a child growing up, or roosters, thinking that they only called in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, sun's about to rise, they would just call 4 or 5 times and that was it. That's not true at all. They call all day long, all the time. They just never stop sometimes mine are a little off schedule, that sometimes 3 in the morning, 3:30, that I'm not sure what's going on with them, where they're kind of, 3 of them are still a little young right now, that they're learning the ropes, that they'll start at 3 o'clock in the morning and just start calling and calling and calling. So something that is it's super annoying. It's super challenging in reality to get used to it. That when they're constantly doing that all day long and you're constantly just hearing it all day long, it kind of just makes you think like, what's the purpose? What's the need? Why are they doing that? How are they doing that? Why? Just why? Like it really can drive you insane in reality. And something that I want to say about a rooster is that I really feel like I start to study them more, start to have a good understanding of them more, is the fact that they are fantastic protectors, land protectors. For being something that everything likes to eat, they have a sense of superiority in them. Hey, Oreo, they have a sense of strongness, boldness. They have a sense of, let's get down. They have a sense of just, I'm the king of kings. Oreo, down. I know how to do it all. I'm so powerful. I'm so strong. Oreo, down. I'm so strong and I could take on the world. And you know what? That one in specific, he thinks he's so powerful that he's more powerful than me. He will run every single person. So he's like my first line of protection in reality out here. That you look at that and you just say, oh no, that ain't nothing. But I'm telling you, you come here, first time you come here, he's gonna challenge you. He's gonna look you up, down. He don't care how tall you are, how short you are, how big, he don't care nothing about you. He's gonna look at you and he's gonna say, I'm stronger than you. And watch me make you move. And he'll make you move. Because when he does his little flutter and run up and put his wings in your face, you're gonna get a little scared and it's gonna make you jump back. And then he's gonna say, I got you, see? And then he's just gonna keep doing that day after day after day to you. And he's so powerful. He's so powerful that he's able to move things that I feel like he shouldn't be able to move. And at the same time, it's for me to kind of, in reality, keep him in check. That I gotta keep him in order. And I use this dog here to make sure that when he wants to try to challenge me, that he knows I have backup. He knows I got a backup source to be able to make sure that he's not gonna run up against me no more. He's not gonna try and chase me no more. He's not gonna try to do any of that at all. He's gonna make sure that he gives me a bubble of space, and if I walk towards him, that he's gonna move. And I feel like that's something that a lot of us, going on a walk today, really got me thinking. A lot of us are on a misunderstanding of what these animals are all about, of what animals even are, of what and how we should be taking care of these animals, and what it is that we should be doing with animals. That animals are tough. Animals do what animals do. Animals are what animals are. They're not human beings. They're not children. They don't have the thinking capacity of any sort of way to be anything like us. They are animals. And I think that a lot of us really, really forget that concept, that they are animals. And we need to make sure that we are treating them as such and being around them as such and making sure that we're maintaining a relationship with them as such. That today, a very interesting thing was going on, that there was a dog that I met that was out of control. He was on the leash and he was out of control. And then the owner is like, you want our dogs to meet? And I look at him just like, no, man, you have no control over that. Why would I ever allow my dog to meet your dog if you don't have control? Because you know why? Animals do what animals do. I don't care what your animal does with you, Oreo down. I don't care what your animal does with you at home while y'all snuggling up on the couch thinking that that animal is liking that, when that animal is comfortable with that. I don't know how he is around you. But when I see that he's out of control and you have no way of being able to verbally or with your leash be able to control it, it makes me worried. It makes me nervous about what is it that we're doing with animals to make them think that they could do that to us, that they are, say, more powerful than us. What is it, the language that we're providing and giving to them to make them think that they can keep doing that to us? And that's something that I come to realize, like working with that one specific rooster in reality. The other three still haven't messed with me, and I don't think that they will, because they understand that I got my backup is my dog. I know how to utilize my tools to be able to get what it is that I need to get. But at the same time, someone would probably say that's not right. Why would you use your dog to run away and chase away your rooster? Why, that's animal cruelty. It's like, how is that when I'm using an animal to move an animal? Is that anything wrong? When I'm using an animal that he was bred to do, he was made to do, he was created to do, you would say that that's not right. And I know that because a lot of people with these specific dogs, we're no longer allowed to show their true potential online anymore. We can show the little fake fancy stuff when they're just moving, but not when they put teeth on, not when they dig deep, not when they do the real work that they're intended to do. We can't show that because people don't understand that these are animals, and animals do what animals need to do. And an animal is going to be able to make sure that it's able to move and maneuver another animal in the way that it needs to do based on its genetic buildup of knowing how to take care of some things. And I just keep hearing other stuff going on where people are having problems with their animals inside of their homes or on their farms, where your animals are trying to harm each other. Your animals are trying to attack each other. Your dogs are trying to attack each other and trying to harm each other. And you get nervous about that, like, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I feel like I gotta remind you guys that these are animals. These are not humans. These are not kids. These are not any enlightened beings that have any sort of spiritual realm, spiritual feelings. They're animals. They're super simple. They're super basic. They are just simple animals. And when an animal does what an animal does, when an animal decides that it's out of control and you want that animal to meet my animal, what do you think is going to happen? That animal out of control is going to do something that animals do. And depending on the specific breed of that animal, it's going to do what it think it needs to do based on the information that you've been telling it to do, based on how you've been training it, based on the leash management skills that you've been doing with it. So when that dog is all jumping and all excited and ready to go, you're teaching that dog, let's go to fight. So then you got a fight dog that wants to try to meet my dog. What do you think the first thing is going to happen? And what do you think that a lot of these terms come from these dogs that we're breeding, that we're creating in reality today, where we got bullies and billies and all these dogs that are, they're fight dogs. That's what they are. They go and fight pigs to death. They go and fight each other to death. They go and fight deer and elk, and they go and get stuff done. And they like to push them around. They like to bully them. They like to be mean to things. They like to be the dominant thing of it, even if they aren't the strongest. That's just what's in their brain. That, just like my rooster, he thinks he's tough. He's this big. He's like 8 pounds, and he thinks he can move me. He thinks that he can move any single person out here. He thinks he's tough. So in his mind, he's going to do what animals do. He's going to challenge me. So in the mind of that dog being, even though if it's smaller, not stronger, more insignificant than the other dog, it's still going to try. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. And that's battle. And that's be a bully. And that's use its pressure, use its power to try and do what it needs to do to another dog to let it know that it's in control, that it's the one that's the more powerful one. And that sets everyone up for absolute failure. That I feel like we are having a problem today with not having a good understanding of what animals are and what they're capable of and what they have already done in the previous history. That in reality, when you pick a dog up from the shelter, from the rescue, there's a reason that it's there. There's a reason that it ended up there. It didn't just end up there because it was a great dog. It was an awesome dog. It was the sweetest of the sweetest dogs. No, it got there for a reason. And that reason may have been that someone decided that they had to move and they just couldn't do it. But no, if that dog was awesome, they would have brought it with them. They would have rearranged their entire life to keep that awesome dog. Because when you have an awesome dog, you do a lot to keep that awesome dog. You just do. And every one of us understands and knows that for 100% fact. That when you have a really, really nice one, it's hard to even consider letting it go. You do not and you will not let it go. And if you do let it go, you're going to let it go to someone who you're going to constantly keep in contact with, knowing that that's an awesome dog. But when you get these dogs and you don't know what they've done, You don't know anything about them other than the first, say, 15 days of playing with it, thinking that you know what it is. That dog is something that, especially if you don't know how to control animals, that dog is going to be something that's going to destroy your world. It's going to do something that it just has to do because that's what animals do. They do what animals do. They are not human beings where they are able to process and think and get things through. It is for us human beings to be able to teach our dogs to be able to process and think and put things through. But when I see that the animal's out of control, you have no understanding of how to do anything with that dog, or any dog at that matter, if the dog is out of control. There should never be a single person walking around with an out of control animal. That's just out of control. That means that you need to get some skills needed and required to be able to have and maintain that dog. That I'm starting to listen to some different information going on that I feel like a lot of us are getting confused with animals. Like, these are animals, people. These animals are under our control and our management at all times, people. That's something that we need to be very, very careful about, and making sure that we are dedicating our time to knowing that these are our responsibilities, that we can't just give up on it, that we can't just not know how to take care of it, that we can't just allow it to be out of control and doing whatever it wants, and being a good term that a lot of people like to use is savage. If you're gonna seriously have like a nickname type savage when you talk about your dog, there's something real serious going on here that we really need to start addressing that and start getting the skills needed, the skills, just in my opinion, Mark Anthony Bose Jr., the skills required to be able to know how to take care of these animals. And a lot of us have more than just some chicken, some dogs, some goats, some pigs, some cows, some donkeys, some horses. A lot of us got all this stuff. And all these things need to make sure that they are all in control and managed correctly, in control, not scared of you. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people get messed up with when, oh, your dogs are in control. Yeah, yes, they're not scared of me in any way. They're not terrified of me. They know that what the balance is of knowing, if I go ahead and put my face on your face, we're gonna have issues. If I put my teeth on your arm, except this guy, we're gonna have issues. That we're gonna have issues if he decides that he wants to put more pressure down on me. We're gonna have issues. We're gonna have issues if he decides to keep on going when I told him to stop. We're gonna have issues. We're not scared. He's not scared. None of them are scared. And I think that a lot of y'all run into the misunderstanding of an animal being in control means that it's scared of you, that it's not gonna wanna work for you more. It's gonna only, the reason why it listens to you, the only reason why it's doing for you is because it's terrified. And if that was the case, the dog would always be running away. The dog would never wanna be around you. The dog would never allow you to pet it. The dog would never allow you to just give it hugs and do anything with it if it was scared of you, right? But yet, when the dog is looking great, when the dog is performing beyond premium, beyond awesome, when the dog is in control, the way that it should be in control from what a human being should be doing with it, everyone just has such like a negative thing to say about that. And that's just so weird to me. Is that because yours isn't that way? Is that because you don't know how to be able to get your stuff right, that you feel like you got to do that and be like that with other people? Is that the situation going on here? I don't know. Something that I still want to try to figure out. But just having a good understanding of animals, knowing that animals do what animals do. It's like for me to say to that rooster, stop doing that. You can't do that no more. Who am I, a human being, to tell an animal to not do what an animal instinct is supposed to do, is supposed to be about, and supposed to fulfill? That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do it all day and all night. I don't know why still, other than it's a call to the world of saying, you come over here, we fighting. That's what I think that the roosters are calling for, right there. He's saying, you come over here and watch what happens, because I'm going to destroy you. And they're ready to fight. These roosters are ready to go to battle, except this boy. He always just runs away. He's so cute. Yeah, you are, homie. But you can go eat. The dogs ain't gonna get you. I'll keep them here. Hey, guys, down. They're fine. But that's what they're saying is go. We're fighting. If you try to come here, and we fighting until one of us is no longer alive. That's what animals do. They're not like humans where they'll just give you one little punch and just like, okay, that was good enough, we're done. No, animals go to death. Animals go all the way. They don't slow down. They don't stop. They don't hold back. They just go all the way in the way that animals are supposed to go all the way in. And I feel like more and more of us really need to have a good understanding that these are animals out here, people. And these animals are, in reality, if we're not taking care of them the right way, they're dangerous. These animals are very, very dangerous. These dogs, especially, are very, very dangerous. This big dog here, Johnny Man's got enough power, enough skill, enough in him that he could kill me if I was, say, being mean to him, if I was ruthless to him, if I was just so evil, because he's in control. He's in control because he understands me and him going back and forth with having a good a respect relationship going on. He's not in control because he's scared. And that's something that I need more and more people to start realizing and having a good understanding with their dogs, is stop feeling as if your dog is, say, not in control, that your dog is not going to like you anymore. And the only reason that I'm going to, you about to see a fight here real quick, but these roosters do. They want to, you can come, buddy. You the cutest little thing, I do say. You starting to come on to be nice to me. Johnny, you get down. We want him to be able to go eat. We want him to go ahead and go eat. You can come. Can I touch you? You ain't gonna make that. Oreo, come here. Get down. These animals are animals, people. We need to make sure that we're doing everything in our power and in our knowledge and our resources and our care to make sure that they are not a menace to society, that they are not something that can damage other people around us, other animals around us. We need to make sure that our stuff is managed correctly so that it's not in danger to you, anybody else, and anything else. And that's something that I feel like we as a people are getting away from, with having the understanding of these are animals. So they all just, they got to do what they got to do. When the sun gets to a certain pitch, I'm starting to really pay attention to these animals. And these roosters in specific, because they're so powerful. They're very powerful. And I want to be able to learn how to control them more, because a lot of people have problems with them on their homesteads, because in their farms, because they're powerful. As small as they are, I'm telling you, you're going to run away from it when you see it. And if it's up to me, I feel like, to make sure that I keep them managed for my own personal ones here, to let them know how to be able to act and react. I know how to teach you to be able to, say, defend yourself if one wants to try to act crazy out here. But I'm trying to figure out how to get above that I could teach these animals how to be able to be, how to be able to do. And I don't feel like a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are like even paying any sort of attention to that they just deal with an unruly animal. And they don't actually like learn how to dial it down to give it the information needed so that it's able to be a functional animal on the farm, and not just put it down or kill it or call it because it's not acting the way you want it to act. And that's something that we do across the board. That we do that with chicken, we do that with goats, we do that with sheep, especially all the boys. It's the boys in the animal kingdom that are tough. And they like to just, they'll challenge you. They are very tough. And they go all in. The rams, the billy goats, the bulls, the roosters, the jacks, the donkeys, and not so much the horses. Horses are just terrified beings. The male dogs, they're all so tough. They're tough, and it's for us to be able to make sure we have a good understanding on how to be able to take care of them, and how to be able to manage them, and how to be able to keep them in control so that they are not a nuisance to everything around. And I feel like that's something that more and more of us really need to start dedicating more and more of our time on, making sure that our animals are in control, that they are not just running around doing whatever it is that they want to do, doing what it is that we tell them to do, that they're not just running around in the neighborhood, just going all around and just being everywhere, that they're doing what it is that we're telling them to do. And they're acting appropriately in a way that we need them to be able to act, and not just on their own mission doing what they do, and for us to just say, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. And that's something with me, with my Pyrenees here, that since he wants to run off, and he hasn't left the property yet, but he still leaves the area that I want him to be in, that I say, okay, well, you're just going to get more limited space. You're going to get limited amount of area until you decide that you want to do what it is that I'm looking for. That I can't just allow him to just run and be free and do whatever it is he wants to do. I know a lot of us have a big problem with that specific animal. And I still will say, anybody has got good information on how to properly train a Pyrenees to only stick and stay with its flock, with its group, with its things. It does not roam. It just hangs out. That's something that a lot of people need, that information. A lot of people need that information, because these dogs are not the typical dog that anybody ever has and deals with. These dogs are not they are not dogs. They are something different. They are very powerful. They are extremely strong. They have no I'm weakness in me at all. A true one, a real one. I'm talking about a real working Pyrenees, not these mixes where people are mixing with pet labs and all this stuff. I'm talking about a real true, born to fight, born to protect Pyrenees dog. These are very, very serious dogs. These are dogs that, granted, they will not hurt people, or so far, I feel like I've never heard them hurt people, but they sure will hurt your dog in a half a second. Because I know that if a dog comes on my property, he's gonna kill that dog. That's just what's gonna happen. Because that's what his job and that's what he's supposed to do and that's what he needs to do. And that's something on the concept of making sure that all dogs are in control. Because why is it that your dog is here in the first place? It's not in control. Why is it that your dog is going crazy on that leash in the first place? Because it's not in control. And that's something that we as a people, as a human species, need to make sure that we are making sure that we are taking care of what we need to take care of and not just pushing it off to the side thinking that one day it's going to get better and pushing it off to the side thinking that things are going to become nicer and smoother for us. That is something that we need to really just start working on and start dealing with and start making happen right now. We need to make that happen right now because we're not doing right towards everybody else when our stuff is all just messed up and just going absolutely crazy. And with that said, there's some other stuff that I got to add to that when I talk about these animals, when I think about human beings, that we as a human being also need to do that exact same thing. That when we notice that we are going crazy, when we are acting a fool, when we are just not doing right, when we are trying to damage everybody around us, when we are trying to destroy everything around us, we should not be allowed to be able to do, say, certain things in reality. We should be limited to what it is that we're able to do until we're able to make sure that we can take care and handle some things before we handle some other things. And it's a very, very interesting situation me saying that because I feel like some of us out here are just so out of control. We're so out of control as a person. And that's where I feel like our animals are out of control. Where I'll say probably the only out of control thing that I feel like I have out of here, outside, not with me, I don't have anything out of control with me. Everything's in control of me. But that rooster, that one rooster, he's standing right here, he's hanging out. That he'll challenge you. He's the only animal of mine that I feel like will challenge any other human being. But I feel like it's something very, rooster man is having a good time right now. But I feel like it's something that we run into an issue with when we as a human are out of control. Our animals are out of control. Because if we are not able to control ourselves and control our emotions and control what's going on with our own beings, if we're always lashing out, we're always angry, we're always just so savage, we're always so mean, that's where I'm going to say, I feel like a lot of people really need to get more experience being out here and doing this work. Because I'm telling you, this work right here will squash that from you. It will. You're going to have no choice but to calm yourself down, relax yourself, and just to humble yourself. Because these animals, in reality, are dangerous. They're very dangerous. That if you want to try to come at it with a whole lot of anger, with a whole lot of fight, with a whole lot of strife, with a whole lot of negative passion, they're gonna meet that right back at you, and you're not gonna survive. And I feel like a lot of people run into very, very sticky situations when they say like, my bull is mean, my ram is mean, my billy goat is tough. He's always ramming me, he's always hitting me. It's because you're coming at them with that same energy. And when you're not consistent with making sure that you're able to take care of your emotions, take care of your well-being, your insides, even my chickens, my baby chicks, all this, everything out here, everything, that if you come at it with a whole lot of anger, it's going to come right back at you with the same thing. So that's when you're going to have a whole lot of out of controlness. And I feel like that's what goes on with all people's dogs when the dog is out of control. You out of control. And being out here and doing some work like this is going to start to control you. It's going to start to force you to do some things to be able to, say, grow yourself up, to get away from these little silly games, this little silly kid stuff that you used to do. That it used to be able to get away with it, but once you deal with something that has the potential to be able to actually harm you, shoot, kill you, you're really going to slow yourself down. That when you got a bull in one of your areas that you need to move him and a donkey. A donkey is tough. I don't know how many of y'all know what a donkey is, but they tough, they serious. They are seriously some serious tough animals, male and female. And that's not something that you just walk up to and just like, oh, get out of the way. No, he's going to turn around and kick you in the gut. And it's going to hurt. That's going to knock you down for a couple weeks. that's going to really be an impact on you, that you can't come at it hard. So you got to figure out a whole different method here. And then when you start figuring out these different methods of how to be able to move and maneuver and handle these animals, you're going to start to really slow down. You're going to start to really calm down. You're going to start losing a lot of that chaos that's going on inside of your life. A lot of that chaos that's going on that just has you feeling as if you don't know what to do and how to do and where to go and how to make anything happen. You're going to start losing all that chaos, because that chaos is something that it's there because nothing has been able to just like really get into you to just say, you got to stop that. No one has been able to do that. You had no parent to come in and say, you got to stop that or else. You got to this or else. No one ever came in and done that for you. Where you need to come out here and start to play with this. You need to start to do some things. You need to start putting yourself into it so that you are able to grow yourself up to be able to have a better life on this planet. Instead of feeling like you're just in this chaos all the time. You're going through these loops all the time of like, oh, I'm happy, oh, I'm sad, oh, I'm happy, oh, I'm sad. You're just constantly doing that stuff. That you need to come out here and start to take it. Hey, Oreo. Come here. No. Come here. It's got nothing to do with Oreo, with chickens. Get down. Come out here to do some stuff to be able to get yourself to really have a good understanding of what it takes to be able to take care of some animals, to keep them in control. Because keeping them in control, I'm telling you again, doesn't mean that they're scared of you. Because if they are, you're doing something wrong. And that something wrong is something wrong with yourself. That if your dog is scared of you, you're doing something inside of your own self, your own being, that is just, you need some help. And you need some help in a way that the church is the only way it's going to help you. That's all I'm going to say with that. You're not going to go to the other place to anything to try and get help. You need to get a good understanding of who God is and what God's all about. Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get away from having that immense amount of anger inside of you, that immense amount of rage inside of you, that crazy amount of just passion to want to hurt and destroy and damage inside of you. You gotta start talking to God some more to be able to help yourself out with that. But at the same time, you want to talk to him and you want to do some stuff like this out here. You want to work with some of these animals out here. You want to be a part of some of this. You want to take care of some of this. You want to put yourself in a sticky situation that you have no choice but to have to do it. Because if you don't, then you're not going to eat. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to survive. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people really need to just submerge themselves into that so that they could just move on with life. So they can get what they need to get and then be able to just continue on and just know, okay, I can be around people again now. I can handle other people. And this may sound crazy to a lot of people, but I don't think that a lot of y'all really realize what's going on inside of a whole lot of people's emotions that are around you. That just when I see something just absolutely crazy, absolutely savage looking, I just know what's going on with you. Like, it doesn't take 8 months for that animal, that dog, to just start to mold and be like you. It literally only takes 2 weeks for that dog to be what you are. That if it's not in control, it means that you're not consistent and you're not able to communicate effectively on making sure that you're keeping you're stable in any way. That's the number one thing I'm going to say, is you're not stable. Not being consistent means you're not stable. And if you're not stable, it depends on how the dog is looking that we can start to make assumptions, and it's not even just assumptions, but reality of what it is that you're doing and why that dog is doing that. And it's just, it's blasted out to the world for everybody to be able to see. That I don't care what kind of smile you have on your face the second that I see you, I can see something else going on around that's just absolutely out of control. And that's something that I don't think a lot of people have a real good understanding on. You're just walking around and you're in your world, paying attention to yours, not realizing that there's something right there that can absolutely damage you, that can destroy you, that can kill your kid. And that's going on today. You know, I made a video months ago about dogs coming and starting to kill people and kill kids and kill other dogs and stuff, that it's starting to already happen. And that's why I feel like I got to talk more and more and more about this, about calming yourself down, putting yourself around more of the animals, getting yourself to know how to properly be able to control the animals and how to manage and maintain the animals, how to take care of the animals properly. Because we're running into very, very dangerous situations where we're allowing these animals to just do what we think is we just let them do whatever they want to do. We're not putting boundaries, restrictions, and rules and regulations upon them. That we're just letting them go and be free. We're not taking responsibility is the main thing for them. We're just letting them do whatever it is that they want to do. And it's something that I feel like we need to be a little more conscious about with taking care of these animals, because they are our responsibility. And if they're going crazy and acting a fool, that we need to make sure that we are taking care of them. We need to make sure that we are getting them in order, correct. We need to make sure that we're doing everything in our power, because we're so smart, because we're so intelligent, because we have unlimited amount of resources, to make sure that they are good to go, that everything is moving smooth with them. That's for us to have to make sure that we take care of. Because every week, it's multiple times a week now, that people are getting killed because of these dogs. And I see them every day, just going frantic on the leash, just going crazy all around. They're just super savage. And it's because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And it's for us to be able to channel that to the dogs, to let them know, you could do that here, but you don't do that here. I know you got that in you, but you're not gonna do that right here, right now. And that's something that comes to the whole concept of me having a good understanding of just more and more animals. That when you have a specific animal in your house, you need to understand and know exactly what that dog is, what that dog was made and created for, what that dog's job is, why it was here. Every single dog came from something that was working. So every single dog has the opportunity inside of them to be able to unleash that drive in them to do what it is that they're supposed to be doing. And most dogs were not created in reality. There's just not many that were. Today we got a poodle. If you got a poodle, cool. That's about the only dog in reality that was made to be like a pet. It's been created to do that, to be calm, to not want to bite, to not be destructive, to not do any of those things. But yet, all y'all poodles are doing that. So that's a very interesting thing for me to even say. But that dog in specific was made for not to do that. But all the rest of these dogs, all these shepherds, all these pitties, all these bullies, all these animals, all these corsos were made to defend, to fight, to battle, to destroy, to dominate. They were created to do that because there was a purpose for them. Like this dog's here's purpose is to move animals. He is to move them at any way that he needs to, he will. So if that's at first just staring at them, giving them that hard eye of I need you to move, and if they move, cool. But if they don't move, he's got to upgrade, and he's got to upgrade. He's got to upgrade. So how many people do you know that have an Aussie or have a cattle dog or have a border collie that bites kids? They just constantly keep biting them, because the kid didn't move the way that dog wanted to. So that dog has to do it. He's got to do it. He's got it in him to do that. That's what they are. And when you get confused, like, oh my goodness, I don't know why my dog is biting people. It just doesn't make any sense. But I'm telling you, the dog is doing that because that's what it's supposed to do. It's a dog. It's an animal. It's something that needs to be under our control to make sure that we are communicating to that dog that we don't do that in that case. And some dogs need to do that. That you need to do it, whatever it is that you need to do, and take the responsibility up of making sure that you give that dog that specific task when it needs it, so that it can fulfill himself or herself, so that they can move on with life and not feel like they have to move every single person and every single thing all the time. That they're able to let that release out. But you need to take a good hard look at your dog that you have and get a good understanding of where it came from and what its true intentions were, what it was bred to do, what it was created to be about, so that you can have a good understanding of knowing what that dog is going to do when that dog starts to get super excited. And the dog starts to just get really jazzed up. It's like, oh. If you got a fight dog, when he gets super excited, he's going to want to fight. If you got a bite dog, he's going to want to bite. You got a chasing dog, he's going to want to chase. If you got anything else dog, you got a hunting dog, it's going to want to hunt. And depending on the style of hunting that it does, today, we no longer just have alert dogs to hunt. Now we have the dogs that should go and kill the prey and bring it back to us. So when you got a dog, you got even a lab that's in your house. Thankfully, they have soft mouths to be able to make sure they don't chew up the food. But he gets super excited. Don't be surprised if the first thing he does is puts his teeth on you. Don't be surprised when you got your pitty it's got bloodlines of what is that stuff? Boar hunting. That it gets super excited that it wants to come in and put its teeth and latch onto you and hold on and not let go. It doesn't want to let go because it doesn't. If it knows that if it lets go, it's going to be susceptible to get hurt, and it doesn't want to get hurt. So it's going to hurt you before it gets hurt himself. You got to understand that there's dogs that are in our homes that's what they're from. That when you got a border collie in your house and your border collie is just getting super excited, he's going to want to bite. He's going to bite you. You got a cattle dog in your house the first thing they like, see, those are kind of cool because they just like to bark. He gets super excited. He's just going to start barking, 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 barking. He's not going to stop barking. He's going to bark and bark and bark because that's how they move the animals. They're going to do what it is that they're supposed to do, what they're intended to do. And every single one of these dogs has that inside of them. So when you got your Cane Corso, that's just getting super excited, super excited. Oh my goodness, I'm super excited. He's going to bite you because he knows he's got to trigger in. I got to guard, I got to protect, I got to get you out of here. That's just, it's going to come into them as a flash of that's what I am. I'm an animal. They're animals. And I'm not sure why people aren't quite understanding this. When you got your shepherd, your German Shepherd especially, your Malinois, especially Malinois, when they're super excited, you can't control them. You can't manage them. You can't get them out of that hyper state that they're always like that. They're always like that. They're gonna go bite. That's what they're supposed to do. That's what they're intended to do. That's what they were created to do, is to go and bite. All of these dogs that we have, not all, but most all of these dogs, 90+% of these dogs have been created to bite. That's what we made them to do, is to bite, because that's what we realize dogs are good at doing, is biting. They're going at finding stuff, biting it, and bringing it back to you. They're good at finding stuff, biting it, make sure it runs away. They're good at finding stuff and biting it to make sure that it doesn't bite them, because it's just protection. That's what we created them for. So when they go off and they go and bite, you shouldn't be like, oh, I can't believe my dog did that. It's just weird to me how that's the new understanding today, that these are animals, people, and these animals are crazy. These animals are animals, and these animals are going to do what animals do. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that we are taking care of these animals, because these animals are very, very dangerous. And these animals can really, really mess you up. And if you want to even try to challenge and test that, come here and check out my rooster and watch how he challenges you. These animals are tough. They're not weak. Come look at my donkey when you want to try to sneak up on him at night and think that he's not going to try to protect his land because that's what he's supposed to do. Hey, Ori, let's get down. Where'd Johnny go? Hey, Johnny. That he's going to protect his land doing what it is he needs to do. And you want to come up on my shadow man, my Great Pyrenees. Hey, Johnny. Come up on my Great Pyrenees at night thinking that you're just going to sneak on him. No, he's going to do what he's supposed to do. And what he's supposed to do is protect and guard, defend, and fight. And that's something that I think that a lot of people are not realizing, that that's the dog that you have in your home. That you think your dog is so sweet, your dog is so nice, your dog is so awesome, your dog would never do this, your dog would never do that, when they're animals. And these animals out here are dangerous. They sure are dangerous. And there's people that just laugh at me when I say that. But the ones that do laugh at me are be the ones that end up in that dangerous situation. Because I don't care how good your dog looks, if the other people's dogs don't start getting right, if the other people's dogs don't start getting the right information, it's gonna only come to you and destroy you. Because the only way that I've known to be able to manipulate my dog from ever getting hurt outside with all these other dogs is to teach my dog that he's tough, and to teach my dog that I'm gonna take care of it regardless. So you just come, you hold my leg, you stay with me, and if that dog tries to come towards us, we're good to go. But I've done a lot of training and a lot of exercises to be able to teach that dog that I know no one else out here is doing. So when you got a dog that's going crazy, that's ready to bite, be very careful that you keep your dog away from that, because that dog is gonna damage yours. And if it's a specific type dog that likes to just bite and hold and not let go, it's not gonna let go. You're not gonna be able to just hit it. You're not gonna even be able to choke it off. It's gonna hold on until it dies. And you're gonna have to choke it to death for it to let go. And most people are not comfortable with that it's gonna bite and it's gonna hold on to the point that your dog is gonna get killed. And I don't know what else to say than we need to start focusing more of our time on making sure that we're managing our animals out here, that we're not just letting them run crazy and run a fool, and allowing these dogs to just do whatever it is that they need to do, and just smiling and thinking that it's okay, because you just haven't seen it yet in your face. When I hear stories and stories and stories and stories and stories again, not old stuff, I'm talking today, right now. Today, there's a kid killed from a dog. Today, yesterday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday, there's a kid killed from a dog. A pet dog inside of someone's home, one of y'all's home, killed a child, a human being. Not a dog, not a cat, not a lizard, not a skunk, but a human being child. And just about once a month, once a week, I mean, there's a human, an adult, 16 and above, that's been mauled almost to death or killed every single week, consistently over and over and over. And that's just going on more and more and more and more and more. And I'm not sure why a lot of people are not taking more responsibility to make sure that they're taking care of their animals, because these animals are crazy. They're savage because they're animals. And we need to make sure that we're not just giving them treats to bite people. We're not giving them treats to destroy other dogs, because if this is why I carry a knife with me at all times. If your dog wants to come on, bite, and latch mine, your dog's unfortunately not going to last long, because there's no way that I could ever allow that to happen. Because that's not, I know what dogs are, and I know how they respond, how they react, and what they do. And the more that you know, the more dangerous the situation really starts to become. When you're less educated, yeah, you don't know. When you don't know, you don't know. You're just like, oh, everything's cool, everything's great, until something comes and happens to you. Until the story comes to you that you get scared, that you heard this from there and you heard that from there, and it was someone close to you, someone real close to you. Imagine like your niece getting killed by a dog at the lake, just going for a walk with their family. That's gonna really start to make you rethink a lot about what's going on. And there's lots of people out here today that have that specific story, that my niece was mauled and killed by a dog, and they will never look at dogs the same. Because now they're educated. They're educated in the most worst case situation. They're educated because they saw the death. They weren't educated because they understood the behavior and they understand the character traits of the dogs. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us really need to start taking a good hard look at our own selves, making sure that we are in control, to be able to make sure that our dogs are in control. And if you are a very erratic, very uncontrolled person, don't get a dog. Don't think that it's going to complete you, that it's going to fulfill you, that it's going to satisfy you, that it's going to be a companion to you. It's only going to destroy your world even more. And I'll say it's a good test of a person, a test of character, to make sure that you do have a nice dog. But please make sure that you're getting the help needed to be able to get that dog to be nice and to be able to get that dog in a good place, in a good situation. Because that dog can end up being something very, very dangerous for you, very, very scary for you. And I don't want that upon you, and I definitely don't want that upon me and anyone that I know, because we're just allowing them to just be free and they could just do whatever they want. And these aren't human beings. The natural instinct of a human being isn't to go and kill another person. The natural instinct of a dog is to do that. They're not humans. And the more that we treat them like humans, the more we think about them as being humans, the more the stories we're going to keep on starting to hear and keep on seeing that this dog hurt and harmed and killed this person and this person and this dog and this dog. Like, I, being a dog trainer, have heard multiple cases already of dogs killing dogs. Like, I've heard it and I've seen the dog. I've worked with dogs that killed dogs. Like, this is real. This isn't some fantasy. Some people have never worked, have never seen, have never heard of, have never even been around it. But I get these calls and I work with these dogs that have already killed other dogs. And this is real. This isn't some other country, it's out there, it's not over here. No, it's here in Georgetown, Texas, in the United States of America, that dogs are killing other dogs, and dogs are killing other kids, and dogs are starting to kill people. They are. It's what it is, because we're not being smart enough ourselves on knowing how to take care of them. That when we see our dog do something crazy, we always just like put it off like, no, mate, he's not gonna do that. But yet that dog breaks out of your house, goes down the street and does something super savage. And then it destroys your whole world. And you really need to start doing whatever it takes to be able to get your animal under control, so that we can be safe out here. Because I want to feel safe out here as much as the next person does. And there's something going on today that's making it so that we're no longer allowed to be safe out here, that things are getting super, super dangerous in a not great way. And with that said, I just want to say thank you for today, for being able to have an awesome day again, a day of being able to take a walk and see a situation that, because of the level of training I'm going to say my dog has, that he's able to maneuver around all this sketchy looking stuff. That I'm so blessed to be able to have been able to go to this, be inspired to go to this dog training school, to be able to have the skills that I have, to be able to work with them, to be able to understand dog behavior, to be able to understand how they respond and how they react and what they do. And at the same time, how to be able to use and utilize all this with all the rest of these animals. That the reason that my 3 other roosters are not the same as my first roosters because I treat them differently. I handle them differently. I did everything different with them than I did with that guy. And that guy, I know why he's mean. And in reality, I know how to make a mean one. You just keep fighting with it every day. You keep fighting with it, it's gonna fight with you. And you keep fighting, it's gonna fight with you. When I decide that I'm not fighting with you, you can fight over there, and I'm gonna be over here, I'm gonna do what I do, he just said, okay, cool, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I said, awesome. And that's the same thing with all these other animals out here, and I just love that insight on that. When I say fight, I think a lot of people don't quite understand what that fight means. That we're not beating them with sticks, we're not running, we're not doing none of that. That when they're yelling, we're yelling back. When they're chasing, we're chasing back. We're not chasing in a way that we're actually physically running them. We're just doing things to them that is not what an animal, that we should be doing to an animal. And I don't think that a lot of people even have a good understanding of what it is that they're doing with their dogs to be able to, that's making them do what it is that they're doing. That you're out here taking care of them in a way that you think is helpful, but it's only harming them, and it's destroying them to the point that they're gonna look at you like you're fun for a week or two, and then they're gonna start to get super anxious and super worried and super fearful and all the rest of this stuff. That is just, we gotta start working through that and getting past that you're getting misinformation on how to be able to take care of what it is that you need to take care of, and knowing how to be able to take care of it at the same time. That there's a lot of miscommunications going on today with that, and I'm so thankful to be a person to be able to have the know-hows and the understandings of how to be able to make sure that we do get everyone on the same page with how to be able to take care of some animals, because these animals are very fun to be around, and these animals are able to help us and make us grow, and these animals are able to, in reality, make me grow. They're able to provide me with food. But when your animals are out of control, it's a hassle to work with, to be around, to even care for. And that's number one thing I'll say. A lot of people quit with goats and stuff because they're a hassle. They're hard to work with. But when you have the right system, you have the right knowledge, you have the right understanding, it's easy. It's super simple. When you got a dog like this and you got them trained up to know how to move animals, you can have whatever you want. You can do whatever you want with any animal, and they're all going to be in a good understanding. But my relationship with this Oreo, he's got to be, my Border Collie, he's got to be right. We got to be on the right understanding that when I say stop, to stop. When I say go, go. When I say down, down. When I say stay, it's a stay. When we are on the same page, then everything else around us is going to be that exact same way, because they're going to understand that we're not out to harm, we're not out to hurt, we're not out here to damage, we're not out here to destroy. We're out here to make sure that everything is in peace and everything is in order. And I greatly appreciate being able to have the opportunity to be able to do this. That this here is an absolute blessing to me. This here, take care of what I take care of out here is so, it's just so amazing. That I know if more and more people did this, you would be able to calm yourself, relax yourself, get yourself away from a lot of addictions, get yourself out of a lot of depressive states, get yourself out of a lot of just sticky situations that are going on with you. The more and more that you take care of some stuff like this, because it's hard to look at a baby chick and be irritated. It really is, especially when there's just a couple hundred of them that are just running around chirping. The sound that they make, their just overall sound is just, it's so cool. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's something that's different. It's something that's magical. It's something that is amazing. And when they get older, the sound when they get when they're older, especially the females, it's so cool to me that we'll get there. Time will get us there. I'll keep showing my chicks and show them what it is that I'm doing out here more and more. And the sounds get really cool. It's just so inspiring. It just really, really lets you know that God is great and God is awesome and God is all about some real true love. And then at the same time, the sounds are so soothing that it's able to feed us and be able to keep us going another day. And that's something that I feel like is probably the best of the best part of everything that goes on out here that I do, that I'm super, super excited to be a part of. And I hope that everyone is able to get some more information, some more understanding, some more training with their animals if they're out of control, so that they can learn how to be able to have a calm, relaxed life on this planet. We're not feeling like you got to manage, always keep them out of the door, shut the door, keep them in, watch this, and living in such a high level of frustration every day with your dogs, with your dogs inside of your house, that you can finally just relax, calm down, and just have a good time. Let's go to the mailbox, guys.